Hey everyone, and welcome back to Geeks and Governance. I'm your host, Jordan Norris, joined as always by my co-host and best friend, Joey Aguilera. Today, we're taking a golden ticket straight into Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, exploring the magic, the mayhem, and some of the deeper themes hiding beneath all that candy-colored chaos. But before we get started, I owe you all a quick apology. On our Shaun of the Dead Halloween episode, the last one that was just posted, I somehow managed to record my entire audio track using my camera mic instead of my actual microphone. So, yeah, I mean, if I sounded like I was broadcasting from inside a tin can, I apologize. That's on me. Lesson learned. Anyway, huge thanks to anyone who stuck with us through that podcast and beyond. And to all of our new listeners, welcome aboard. We're still a new podcast out here in the space, and your support really helps us grow. Every follow, share, or positive review means the world to us. All right, guys, let's grab your everlasting gobstoppers and maybe a moral compass, and let's step inside Willy Wonka's factory.
And let's get right in there, because Willy Wonka and his world is as we know, place of pure imagination.
Yes, in a world of pure imagination.
Pure imagination.
One of the songs. We love the songs in this show, in this movie. I don't think either of us are big musical guys necessarily. Would you agree with that, Joe? Yeah,
no, I'm not. I mean, but when I was a little kid and I used to paint my nails, it was a confusing time in middle school.
Yeah.
I had a stint with musicals, West Side Story, Sweeney Todd, Lion King,
theater kid?
shit like that. Yeah. I wasn't want to be theater kid. The theater kids didn't want me because marijuana. But who needs those losers anyway?
So it unlocks your creativity. All right, maybe if they were more attuned, maybe you never know.
Yeah, get woke.
Get woke. Get something, that's for sure. Maybe get sleepy. But speaking
real quick before we get into it, I would like to just say, I don't know if we're going to end up covering one day the Johnny Depp version or the Timothée Chalamet version. Probably not. But this version explicitly, the 1971 Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original, holds such a special place in my heart. And it's crazy the amount of weight it has carried throughout the generations. And like you were saying about the music in particular, it's got a message to everything. I mean, even, it's critical of parenting, and it's critical of gluttony, and it's critical of all these things, consumerism, in a way that I think pop media has failed to do largely in the realm of children viewership for a long time.
Yeah. No, there's a clear message that's present in the movie, and obviously we're going to explore that a little bit deeper as we start to break down the plot, as we normally do. Of course, spoiler alerts if you guys haven't seen this movie that is now, I believe, over 40 years old.
Everyone dies.
And watch it. But that's, we always try to give a fair spoiler alert, but that's what we like to do. We like to kind of break down the plot. That gives us really good opportunities to explore the themes that are present. And we just kind of go deeper into them and give our perspective on them. And again, and like Joey said, this movie really holds a special place, and I think both of our hearts. I mean, we watched it when we were young children, and I've probably watched it countless times since. It's one of the only movies that has several musical numbers that I will gladly sit through without needing to be like coerced into it. It's really this and Sweeney Todd, brother. That's pretty much it for me as far as musical goes, that I can actually sit there and watch.
Absolutely. And what really does it for me in this film is besides the messaging and all the strong themes present throughout it, it's the presentation, the set pieces that they're acting on, the stages, so to speak. I mean, like, you really think you're in some kind of madman's candy wonderland.
It transports you for sure. And the music does a huge, I think we talked about that before even recording that, just how much the music plays into that. Like when you first step into Wonka's factory and that music's playing in the background and he's doing his little dance, his little walk dance where he's like Gene Wilder, he goes, he does fantastic in this movie. And Yeah, we're really excited to get into it. I do want to, make it official, just in case anyone's wondering. This is considered our second Halloween episode for this
That's
year of
true.
2025. This is a movie with really kind of twisted parts, and if you think about it, if you look at it through a certain lens, I think you could easily see it as being somewhat of a horror movie. So
Willy
that's
Wonka is
this
a
is
sick man, and we'll be getting
yeah,
to
right.
that for sure. He's a sick guy, sick
Yeah.
guy.
And again, audience folks, it is difficult for me to convince Joey to watch most scary movies.
It's
So
true.
this is probably the territory that we're going to have to be in for Halloween to start. I think, as we get deeper into the podcast and get more episodes out and start to
Better
run
luck
out of
next
things to
year.
cover. Yeah, listen, we're going to start to run out of things to cover, and we're going to get into some scary movies and scary games, because I know you don't like those either. And we're going to we're going to start covering those. You're going to have to be brushed up on your knowledge, brother.
I'll
As you're
play. I'll
involved.
play for sure.
We're going to get
Lights
you
on,
scared. We're
but
going to
I'll
get
play.
scary. We're
Yeah,
going to get scary.
absolutely.
So
So you want to take
happy
us
Halloween
off?
to all you folks out here. We plan to drop this on Halloween day. Hopefully Spencer can do what he needs to do and get us under control as far as production goes to get ready to post that. And again,
Right.
thanks to everyone in advance for listening. So Joey, let's get right into it, brother. As far as the world of Willy Wonka and the world that is obsessed with consumption and excess. And really, one of the first scenes that opens up is at a candy shop where all like the little school children are at. And we get into a little musical number, and you sing about the Candyman and all the magical things that he can do that nobody else really can. And how does this guy go about conducting his business, Joe? What do you have any feedback on how the Candyman conducts his business there at the shop?
Well, that's an interesting question. I will say it does seem a little counterproductive. So what he decides to do in order to attract business, I suppose, I don't know if this is a marketing strategy or what, but he goes on a ladder, grabs all the candy, and starts throwing it all over to the kids, seemingly for free. Nobody buys a thing.
Right. I don't
Everybody's
see
just
any money
grabbing
exchanged.
candy. No,
Yeah.
nobody's throwing quarters back at him or little coins or anything. This dude is not running a tight ship. And
Right.
I mean, I have to imagine the losses that they were in the dollars.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who works in retail, man, I could tell you that's going to be an inventory nightmare. When next time they go to do inventory, they're going to be all over the place.
I hope
And yeah,
he's
there's
also the boss as well as the owner. You know what I mean? Like,
he goes to do inventory. He's like got like a clipboard. He's like, "What's been going on in here?
who did this?
Who could
My
have done
God.
this?"
The song
The
got me
Candyman can.
again.
The Candyman can. That's who.
And you know what? What's really crazy about this world is that from the moment you step into it, you quickly see the separations in class between
Hmm.
people, where people
Yep.
that Charlie goes to school with are, talking about they're wearing nicer clothes than he is. They're talking about certain aspects of family life, talking about, they go to the store, they're spending cash to get candy and things like this. And
Right.
then you see Charlie who's like running kind of a job as a paper boy, if that's fair
Yes,
to
he's
say.
working. Yeah, all the
Right.
other kids are going to get candy. He's working, and this
He's
is, of
working.
course, Charlie Bucket. He's our protagonist in this movie.
Right. And I mean, he's really yearning for it. He's running papers for a quarter. Um, he spends it not on himself, but he buys bread for his family so that they can eat. Um,
Yeah.
he returns back home, and you see the absolute destitute situation that his family life is actually in, which is
Yeah.
kind of like a one-room cottage, all four of his grandparents on a bed for
Yeah.
20
One
years
bed.
allegedly, which we'll get to that, but I call bullshit. Um,
Yes.
and
Agreed.
and then you have the father who works hard and is trying to bring home what he can. The mother has a job
Mhm.
cleaning clothes for some kind of, I don't know what, maybe an inn of some kind or
Some kind
something.
of wealthy establishment or family.
Right. And
Yeah.
she's literally cleaning clothes in a boiling stew of water at one point. And
I thought that was their dinner.
yeah, no. That was, oh my God, terrible. So, like And the selflessness within this protagonist is what I find truly kind of enthralling, is that he's not taking that quarter and taking it to, buy games or hang out with friends or, self-indulgence. He's using it strictly for the betterment of his family to the best of his ability. He offers his grandpa
Right.
Joe, he'll buy his tobacco. This is 1971, so, kids can buy tobacco.
Yeah,
Um,
just go down to the store and buy it.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
So,
and really, what that is it's a commentary on working class decency and moral purity in the face of what is this systemic inequality. So it's obvious that his family are hard workers. They're not sitting around and not doing anything. They're obviously working as much as they can, but
except
it's
Grandpa Joe.
this except for Grandpa Joe. Yeah, the family is him and his parents. So the grandparents are kind of just there. They're like furniture. They
Yeah.
don't do anything.
Furniture
Uh,
that probably smells pretty rank.
very bad. I mean, again, Grandpa Joe claims that he's been in bed for the past 20 years and hasn't left that bed. And there's just so many logistical issues with that, aren't there, Joe?
Well, yeah, so I'd like to bring a few of those up quickly if
Please
I
do.
can. There is a point where Charlie is going to get paid from the newspaper man, and he
Right.
says, "Hey, I did my job for the day. Like, where's my money? Pay me," kind of thing. Not like that. I'm from Jersey, so it comes off a little rough. But at that moment, the newspaper man hands Charlie a quarter and says, almost word for word, "Tell Grandpa Joe I said hi." Now, the newspaper man, he's not a young man, but he's not a very old man. So
Okay.
I have to imagine that if Grandpa Joe was laying in bed for 20 years and you go
Mm,
back 20 years at the best excuse you could come up with, that newspaper man must have been what? 18, 19,
yeah.
at the time he looked like he's in his mid 40s possibly.
Yeah.
Tell Grandpa Joe I said hi. How do you know Grandpa Joe? How do you remember Grandpa Joe? I got
Right.
questions.
If
Is
he hasn't been
Grandpa
out of the
Joe
bed in
sneaking
20
out of his
years.
bed to go grab the newspaper early in the morning before anyone wakes up? I mean, I have questions. How much has Grandpa
It's
Joe
possible.
divulged about his family life and who his grandchild is? What is happening in the world of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? You know what I mean? There's
I think
also
it's awesome
another
because
point.
it's such like a brush over line that you just could not stop thinking about. It just like kept you up at night. You're like, how does he
Kept me up.
know him?
It kept me up. And there's other parts too, which we haven't gotten quite to yet in the story, but I'm going to bring them up anyway for argument's sake. There is a
Okay.
point where Willy Wonka, Charlie buys a Wonka bar, right? And he opens it and it's no good, doesn't have the thing. And then late at night, he's saying goodnight to Grandpa Joe. Grandpa Joe goes under his pillow and he pulls out a fresh Wonka bar and he goes, "We're going to open it together." It's a really cute scene. They play it off as a really cute scene, but at no point does
Right.
Charlie stop and go, "Who the hell gave you this
Where?
Wonka bar?
Yeah.
Has
How did
it
you
been
get
under your
this? How did
pillow
you
for 20
acquire this?
years?" In which case it wouldn't have a golden ticket anyway. You know what I
No.
mean?
And I also just want to interject real quick because you were so excited to start ripping apart Uncle Joe that we didn't even introduce why there are
Grandpa.
golden tickets. What I say, Uncle Joe? I
Yeah,
tend to do that a lot. I don't know why I keep doing that. But he's listen, he's somebody's uncle.
that's
Um,
true.
they are looking for golden tickets because Willy Wonka, who is the owner of the Wonka Chocolate Company and or Candy Company, whatever you want to call him, he is this mogul who is mysterious. He's been behind his gates, locked up for. Do you remember how long it was, Joe? He's been locked up. The factory. It's been a long time.
I would say at
Uh,
least 15 years, something like that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
would agree with that. Yeah, I would say well over a decade this place has been locked up. It's been super mysterious. Obviously, they still make all their products and they're world renowned. Everybody loves Wonka products, but he is getting ready to open the gates for the first time in forever, and he's going to have a tour. And the people who get to come on that tour is going to be 5 select people who find Wonka bars with golden tickets in them. And so they're
right.
totally random. And this is it sends the world into an absolute fury. And they're just furiously buying up every chocolate bar they possibly can. They're scrambling, they're going crazy, they're going into debt and thinking of all these crazy ways to try to come up with the golden tickets to be the person who gets into Wonka's factory. There's also other prizes that come along with I think it's like a lifetime of chocolate or something like that, and
Right.
a couple other perks that come with it. And I think what this does, again, if we're gonna just talk about the themes that really come to the forefront when you look at this specific situation, or I think it's capitalist greed and it's mass consumerism. So those two things are very apparent in the way that people go out of their way to buy buy in pursuit of like this tiny fraction of a chance that maybe you're the one of the five lucky winners.
And you know what? It's actually like on Wonka's part, as a mogul of sorts in the candy realm, being this legendary genius, I don't know what you would call him, chocolatier, so to speak.
Yeah.
And having your factories closed for that long, yet still churning out massive profits with some kind of invisible workforce, it makes you ask the question, where's the federal food and safety inspectors? Are they entering the factory? I don't know. You
Not
know,
allowed in.
no, not allowed in, which is crazy too. But on top of that, I mean, he gets this hype going that is unreal. The entire world, like you said, is jumping on it. And
Yeah,
and that
the
kind of
entire
brings us
world.
to this early compilation where, you know, Charlie hears about the golden ticket, he really wants it. And
Mhm.
but in the meantime, I mean, I mean, all types of crazy things are happening. There are there are people hunting for these tickets. There's the girl Veruca's father buys at some point. I have the number here. Um, he has a warehouse full of workers. They're opening 9,000 bars an hour. That's the exact figure he gives in the movie. And
That's impressive.
at the point where we meet them and they find their golden ticket, it's 780,000 bars so far that they've
Oh my
opened.
god. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
780,000. That is the
Yeah.
number he mentions in the movie. I mean, the world is going crazy. There's even a guy who creates some kind of like supercomputer that's basically what we would call AI today.
Hmm.
And he asks the AI computer if where the next walk where the other golden tickets would be, and the computer responds with I won't tell, that would be cheating. And then the guy's like, hold on, let me tell him what's on the table here. What are you gonna win? Lifetime supply of chocolate, that's what you win.
Right. Of
And the
course.
computer responds perfectly. It goes, what would a computer do with a lifetime supply of chocolate? And then the scene kind of just ends. And additionally, one more honorable mention, there is a lady who's clearly working with the FBI or something. Her husband has been kidnapped. It's a real quick scene, you get context. And um the kidnappers are requesting her last box of Wonka bars because it's like the last box in the US.
Right.
And man, she does not know what to do. Okay. She's like, can they let me think about it? Like, girl, your husband's gonna die.
Oh my god. Yeah, but there's a chance. You're saying there's a
The,
chance I could get lifetime supply of chocolate though.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's worth the chance. So you really see this mayhem spread all over. Even the science teacher, Charlie's science teacher, dismisses class because he wants a golden ticket as well.
I just realized Willy Wonka is the only movie in history that asks the question, what would you rather choose? Your loved one's life or a lifetime supply of chocolate? I do believe it's the only movie that poses that question.
The answer is clear.
Powerful. Powerful.
Powerful.
Cinema. That's cinema.
That is cinema. Um,
So we have all this craziness, and we start to get some winners, boys. We start to get some winners. We're gonna go through the winners real quick. It's all children. Strangely enough, out of all the millions,
billions
if
of
not
people.
billions, of people that were looking for these golden tickets, it's all children that win them. We have first off my boy, Big Augustus Gloop. Big Augustus
Baby.
Gloop is he is
Dominicano. Ah,
no, Augustus Gloop is German. He's a
that's
very
true.
German,
That's
very
fair.
portly young boy who is from Germany, believe it or not. And when you go to him winning, I believe he's at like some kind of feast or fancy like big dinner with his parents. And man, they're eating a lot and they're eating disgustingly, and they're
One of
obviously
my favorite things about that
very
scene is
rich.
when the reporter puts the mic in front of Augustus Gloop's father's mouth and he takes a
He starts
bite.
eating it. Yeah, he
Takes a
starts
bite
eating
out
it.
of the mic.
Yeah, 100%. You can't put nothing in front of these people. They will eat it. And we're gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna circle back to that. But he's the first winner. Second winner, Veruca Salt.
Hmm.
And I don't know that this necessarily goes in the order in which they win, but this is how we have them listed. So that's what we're running with, boys. Veruca Salt. She is the walking definition, the walking personification of entitlement. She is the most spoiled child you've ever seen. Gets everything that she begs for from her dad, even though it doesn't take much begging. It's pretty much just a whining request, and yeah, whatever you want, darling. He couldn't care less
Right.
as long as he gets her to shut up, and yeah, so she wins as well, and that was the one where the dad owns the factory and has all the workers that open over like a million candy bars in order to find her one.
Hmm.
Then we have Violet. Joey, you want to tell us a little bit about Violet Beauregard?
Yeah. Violet holds the most uncomfortable record in 1971 for
Mm,
chewing onto a piece of gum for over 3 months. She
gross,
sticks it behind her ear, which
gross.
is disgusting. Um, Absolutely not valid. Her father is a car salesman and is doing everything he possibly can to grift on top of the golden ticket, which is
Right.
also one of my favorite things. He just jumps in front of Violet and he's like, "Yeah, come down to Bob's Auto Shop. We got it done."
We got the best cars. They're on sale. They're definitely not broken.
Yeah. And then this
Yeah,
nasty
that kind
little
of
girl
stuff.
is talking about her ear gum. Um, and
Yeah,
that
super
was
gross.
wildly upsetting to me.
Yeah, and then she's super obsessed with her image and being the number one gum chewer. She's just chomping on gum the whole time she's talking to the cameras, and
Right.
that's pretty much her whole shtick. I mean, that's like her ID, like her personality is
Yes.
the lady who chews a lot of gum. So awesome for her. And then we have Joey. I think your favorite of the winners.
Marble Falls, Arizona zone. Mike TV,
That's
buddy.
awesome that you know where he's
That's
from.
a big fact, dude. And I just want to say, man, he would have loved Red Dead Redemption 2. This was a little
Definitely.
cowboy, Western obsessed gun nut. True American, bro, through and through.
True American.
He goes, at some point, he's like, "Oh, look at the way that guy dies." And then the reporter's like, "Is that what life's about?" And he goes, "That's what life's all about." Just a monster of a child, a dog of a
Yeah.
bloke. Um,
Yeah.
and then he says, "Wait till I get a real one. I want a Colt 45." That's what he says. And his dad,
Yep.
and he's like next to his dad, and he's like, my pop won't let me have one till I'm 12, which is just so American. So goddamn
Yes, very
American.
very 1970s America for sure.
Honestly, it's feeling pretty 2025 America.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've seen some very disturbing Christmas cards from the Republicans.
Oh man. Yeah. But real quick, before we move past the introduction of these children, I feel like we should take a moment to talk about Slugworth.
Yes, because every time one of these kids is shown in their winning scene and you get introduced to them right at the end before it cuts to the next scene, you see this really shifty looking, well-dressed fellow like slide his way in. He'll either just kind of sneak up on the kid and and next thing you know, he's just kind of whispering in their ear, or he'll be posing as like one of the waiters I think he was posing as with Augustus Gloop's family, and the next thing you know,
Yes.
he's whispering in his ear. And yeah, that's just basically how, and it is, it's very much portrayed to us that, hey, this is somebody who's obviously, planting things in the minds of these winners who are going to be going to Willy Wonka's very secret, very mysterious and mystical chocolate factory, and very successful chocolate factory. So, and do
Right.
do we is it just heavily implied that that's Slugworth, or is it like,
So
I don't know if it's ever really definitively said.
it's not definitively said until he meets Charlie after he wins his golden ticket.
Okay. And then you actually
Which
get to hear him speak, whereas when he's talking to
right,
the other kids, you don't actually hear his
you don't
voice.
hear him at all, right?
Gotcha.
And who Slugworth is, I mean, without getting into the big reveal towards the end of his character,
Right.
um, he's the owner and proprietor of Slugworth's Chocolates, which is some kind of big competitor to Wonka.
Yeah.
And he is kind of looking for a way to get an edge on the competition by stealing his competitor's secrets.
Yes.
Classic, corporate espionage type of things.
Right.
And he seemingly finds an opportunity in these children that are winning these golden tickets who are going to be visiting this factory nobody has notably been in for over a decade.
Right.
And that's his
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah, and he's very like insidious looking. He's like a real slimy looking fellow. Like the casting, they did a great job with casting Slugworth in this movie.
Absolutely.
Uh and the last, again, obviously the fifth golden ticket winner child that is our protagonist is Charlie Bucket. And all the other kids, when they win, they're being filmed with their parents, so it's safe to assume that they're going to bring their parents. You really don't need to know much about them. All these parents are kind of essentially just their children's enablers that enable them to be
Terrible people.
terrible people, and just like a very clear like representation of the bad things that they are.
Right.
And then that obviously Charlie differs. He's our humble hero. He is the nice kid. He's always looking out for his loved ones instead of himself. And that's why, for some strange reason, he chooses Grandpa Joe to come with him to the chocolate factory. Not his mom, who's been working day and night and slaving away over a hot stove, making
I'm so happy you have
making
the
clove
same
soup.
notes as me because
Yeah, 100%. I do. I have the same feelings, man. I really do. I've never been a fan of Grandpa Joe.
yeah.
I don't think that he deserved to go to Wonka's factory.
I do have an additional problem with Charlie winning the golden ticket though.
Okay,
So
make it fast. We still gotta get into the factory.
right. So I'll make it quick. So Charlie, throughout the whole thing, there's a fake ticket, a fake winner, right? All hope is gone.
Oh
And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
right. So he's
I forgot
leaving
about that.
school and he finds out people are gathered around the newspaper and they're like, oh, the ticket was fake. The ticket was fake. He just bought a
Mm-hmm.
Wonka bar for his Grandpa Joe. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, fuck it, man. I'm going to open it. Let's see what happens. And
Right.
then he wins the ticket. Now, my issue with this is the previous night, right? They, the mother and all these other people in the house are like, basically their sentiment is you can't just, there's billions of people in the world. Everyone's looking for it. You can't just get something because you want it. And Grandpa
Yeah.
Joe's like, nah, he wants it more. He's going to get it. So
Right.
my criticism of that is I have written here, it's just real simple. I must have made these notes when I was feeling angry because it just says you don't just get things because you want it more, dot, 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 except Charlie. Charlie does.
Except Charlie. Charlie does.
And I hate that.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hate that.
And I feel like it does kind of feel like it feels, and I actually have in my notes him winning feels like a lottery win. It's not a product of effort. It's really a reflection of how poor people really need to rely on luck in an unfair system. When
Yes.
you when you see viral videos of people hitting for $1 million on blackjack at a casino or something, like that's being posted and these people are going viral, not because they're millionaires who just made another $1 million. It's like these people lived in poverty and probably didn't even have that money to gamble with. I mean, I'm just assuming.
And just took a
And
shot.
next thing, exactly. They took a shot and now they're a hero, and they're someone who people can look up to as inspiration for maybe something that could happen to them. And
Right.
it's just, yeah, it's a good fight, and it kind of is poignant how this is something that's super prevalent in when this movie was made in the late 60s, early 70s, and it still really rings true today.
Yeah, 100%. So when Slugworth meets Charlie, Arthur Slugworth Chocolates Incorporated. He asked him, and probably what he asked all the other children, in fact, definitely, was for them to grab him a everlasting gobstopper, some kind
Yeah.
of secret, ultra rare candy that Wonka is working on that could put all these other chocolatiers out of business,
Hmm.
allegedly. Um, and that's when we fast forward to October 1st, 1971. That is the day they enter the factory.
Yes. What a grand day it is. You have tons and tons of people at the gates of the Wonka factory waiting for him to come out. And I just love the bit. I want to try to get into the factory quickly because we still have a lot to cover. But the bit where Gene Wilder walks out, and this is the first time you're seeing him as Wonka, and he's walking out with the cane. And he's got this really bad like limp, and he's doing it perfectly, and he's limping out with this cane, and he takes a couple steps, and you realize, oh man, he left his cane behind. And as he loses all support from this cane, he starts to lean forward, and instead of falling flat on his face like he looks like he's about to, he tucks at the last moment and does a little roll. And he's such a showman, man. And that just like shows you right away, you're like, this guy,
He's
he
all right.
knows what he's doing, and he's good at it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just love that bit. That's one of like the most memorable bits in the movie. One of the things I look forward to seeing every time I watch the movie.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great introduction to the character. It really shows off his wittiness and his wonkiness, if you will.
Yes, exactly. I like that.
Yeah, and then 47 minutes into the movie, we finally step foot into the factory.
Yes. Yeah, and
Um,
it's an amazing place, followed
well,
by an amazing score.
what's interesting to me is the contract clause that he
Yes,
has
they
all
do
the
sign a
children
lengthy
sign.
contract.
They sign a lengthy contract. There's a big contract up on the wall. It makes everybody sign it before they officially enter, like in the, I guess, foyer, you could say. And
Hmm.
it's this long scroll of text, and at the very bottom, all the words get so scrunched up you can't even make them out, which
Right.
is my first inclination that this guy might be a little shady. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and so all the parents are like, what is this? Like, what are we signing? And all the kids are like, I don't give a damn what we're signing. We're signing it.
Right.
Which, yeah, which we'll come back to the contract later towards the end of the film. But this gains them entrance into the rest of the factory, leading them into a narrow hallway with a closed door. They they walk in, they get trapped. They're like, where do we
Yeah.
go?
Well,
Where do we
the hallway
go?
it shrinks. The hallway shrinks,
It
and as they walk
shrinks.
into it deeper and deeper, it shrinks, and the ceilings get lower and lower, and they're super scrunched. And then next thing you know, Wonka's like, "Oh well." I think there's also a bunch of doors, and they're all like super confused
Yeah.
as to where to go. And then Wonka opens this little tiny door, and it switches it like switches cameras, and you see them all walk through like what seems like a very normal sized door. And
Larger
I
than
think that's
normal.
like
It's
your first
huge.
yeah, a gigantic, it's a comically large door actually, now that you remind me. That, thank you.
Yeah, comically.
uh and that's one of the first things that shows you like, okay, this is not a normal place. Like, this isn't, he's not just making like out of this world candy. Like, this, the factory itself may have some
Magic.
interdimensional product, like yeah, like things about it that allow it to do things that are not physically possible.
He's got a quantum unfolding chamber, dude, like
Essentially,
Peacemaker.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, essentially. Yeah,
absolutely.
it's awesome. And so you finally you get into the first wide open room of this factory, and
The
it is
chocolate room.
magical. The chocolate room. Thank you. It's
Yes,
awesome. It's
it's
so
magical.
good.
The
It's one of the
grass
best
is
scenes in
made
the
out of
movie.
candy. There's lollipop
Everything.
trees and candy cane
Everything is candy.
forest,
Everything's edible.
chocolate waterfall that churns the chocolate so that it's perfect. I mean,
Yes.
it does look like sewage a little bit actually upon
A
a
little bit.
rewatch, but
Right.
but still
But it's
magical
chocolate.
nonetheless. Yeah, it's chocolate.
Yeah. It's just chocolate.
It's chocolate. I really hope they don't have a roach problem.
They
But
probably do. It's the
you know,
1970s England. They probably do.
I got to give a quick little shout out to Gene Wilder because there's a point where he's singing that first song he does, Pure Imagination,
Yeah.
and
Best song in the
towards
whole movie.
right and towards the end of it, he's sitting down and he's going slow with the last verse, and he's like, there I'm just gonna read it because I'm a terrible singer, but there is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there you'll be free if you truly wish to be. And in that moment he's drinking out of a like an edible teacup flower that he like
Hmm.
picks in his room,
Yeah.
and then he bites the cup. Now when he bites that cup, I had to look it up, that teacup is actually made out of wax. So the real
Right.
Gene Wilder took a solid chunk out of a wax cup. And I just think, man,
Awesome.
if that doesn't get you an Oscar, I I don't know
Yeah.
what will, because have you ever put wax in your mouth? It's a terrible time.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not very yummy, but it's
Mm.
when you watch him do it, it looks like it's delicious.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
he does a lot of Gene Wilder does a lot of heavy lifting in this movie, man. He's fantastic. And again, I said, Charlie's our protagonist, but he's essentially just kind of the device that moves the plot forward.
Mhm.
The show is Willy. The show is Willy Wonka. That's the show. That's who we all came here to see. We did not come here for Charlie Bucket.
For
He was just
for
there.
Charlie, yeah, Charlie's broke ass.
Listen, he's not gonna be broken here given another hour of this podcast. He's not gonna be broken no more.
That's true.
Uh,
That's true. So at this point, also within the chocolate room, we meet the Oompa Loompas from Loompa Land for the first time,
yes.
and they're digging or sucking up chocolate or whatever it is, and there's a point where somebody asks him. All the parents are clamoring to know, like, who are these little orange men, and he says, well, they're Oompa Loompas from Loompa Land, and and somebody says, there's no such thing. I'm a geography teacher, da da da. I think it's Mike TV's mom. And he goes, oh, well, you should know what a terrible place this is. And I just think it's so funny that he
Mhm.
matter-of-factly speaks about a place clearly nobody knows about.
Right.
And then he continues to mention, he goes, it's filled with desolate wastes and fierce beasts, like saying doodles that will eat 10 of them for breakfast without even thinking about it. It's like the
Oh my god.
craziest, like, what is this picture that you're painting right now of these little
Yeah.
men you're holding hostage? Um,
Yeah.
but, and at some point, my favorite part about that scene is, the father of Veruca says, what kind of nonsense is that? And he goes, he's just done. He's just done explaining the Oompa Loompas and where they're from. You'll never hear an explanation again. And he just goes, all questions must be submitted in writing. And that's it. That's the end of it. You never, there's no more. They don't dig into it any more than that. That's it.
Now,
Submit your
one thing I
questions in
love about
writing.
Wonka, man, one thing I love about him, if he does not want to answer a question, he's not gonna.
No,
He's
not at
not
all.
gonna. And he's
Not
gonna
at
do it
all.
in a very clever and hilarious manner, which I love.
Right. So
And
you want to get
so,
to, uh,
Mr.
speaking
Gloop?
of Wonka, yeah, Augustus
Mr.
Gloop.
Gloop. Well, yeah, so you were talking about the chocolate river, which is awesome. Who has a chocolate river? And could you imagine anything that a fat kid would rather take a swim in than a chocolate river? I
No,
couldn't. So,
nah, me
so
neither.
Augustus does exactly that. Augustus Gloop, he wades his portly self into the water or into the chocolate, and he's eating the chocolate. He's taking handfuls of it, and
Hand
Wonka's freaking out. He's like, "Dude, you are tainting my entire chocolate supply. This is horrific. What are you doing? Get a hold of yourself." And before he can get a hold of himself, a pipe gets a hold of him, and this pipe that's sucking the chocolate up gets Augustus's massive body in there, and he gets stuck in the pipe, and everybody's freaking out except for Wonka. He's not really freaking out. He's pretty chill, actually, all things considered. and
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the pressure builds up from Augustus's massive body clogging this pipe, and it's a clear pipe, so you can see all the action. It's fantastic. And as the pressure builds and builds and builds, you're worried. I was thinking like it was kind of gonna explode, and next thing you know, just shoop, he just gets sucked up into the pipe
It
like
just shoots him.
yeah, like one of
And
those
Grandpa
like
Joe,
the
a
like at a
testament to
bank
what
in
a
the 90s.
horrible, yeah, 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 and a testament to what a horrible human being Grandpa Joe is. There's a part where right before he shoots out, Charlie's like, "What's gonna happen to him?" Grandpa Joe's like, "You remember what I taught you about bullets and guns?"
That's messed up.
what the fuck? And then right after
Yeah,
that,
right.
boom, he shoots out. That's it. That's the whole quote. Like, dude,
Yeah.
what are you teaching Charlie about guns for? What is going on with Grandpa Joe? I
Grandpa Joe.
have no idea.
He's an enigma, man.
An
He's an
enigma,
enigma
bro.
for
He's a
sure.
shady guy. And then the mother of Augustus Gloop, after he gets shot up, is like, it's like, where did he go? And he goes, oh, the fudge room. And she's like, help. And he goes, and he just looks off to the side, kind of like stoically. And
Mhm.
Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka goes, help, murder, police.
No, murder, police.
And it's like, it's so funny because he's just, doesn't care at all what
No,
happens to
super
this lady.
nonchalant about it.
Right. And that's when we see his
Or,
magic flute. He pulls out the magic flute,
oh, yes.
and that's when the
Yeah.
Oompa Loompas come and he directs them to take her to the fudge room and get
Yes.
Mr. Gloop.
Yes. And then they sing their first song. You hear the Oompa Loompas' first song, which all of their songs go super hard. And they all have messages which are very directly related to the shortcomings of these children and the horrible things that just happened to Augustus and are going to happen to the other ones. Spoiler alert again, but all these kids are going to have a pretty bad time except for Charlie.
Right. And what I like about their songs is that they're all pretty much the same except for a few key differences in the relevancy to each child.
Yes.
Like with their first song, it always starts Oompa Loompa Doopity Doo. I've got a perfect puzzle for you. If you're wise, you'll listen to me, etc. And then, when it comes to specifics with Augustus Gloop, uh, the line is, what do you get when you guzzle down sweets, eating as much as an elephant eats? What are you at getting terribly fat? What do you think will come of that? Yeah.
I don't like the
Like the
look of it.
it.
Fantastic.
And it's like, it's just so good because, it's like, yeah, if you're constantly eating and you're being a glutton, like you and I both know very well you're gonna get fat. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
And you
And it's
don't feel your
gluttony.
best to
It's
look your
more than
best.
just getting fat. It's the very personification of gluttony that Gloop and his family both were. Obviously, they were very wealthy. They wanted for nothing, and all they did was consume and consume. And that
Right.
is not really a great way to live your life. And that's the first. He's the
And
first
it's
one.
even
First one that bites
mentioned.
the dust.
Yep, and it's even mentioned in the last stanza of the song. If you're not greedy, you will get far. You will live in happiness too, like the Oompa Loompa Doopity Doo. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's all you got to do. Don't be greedy, man, and enjoy what you
Yeah.
can enjoy. And I think that's a rallying message, and also a criticism of like, no child just goes out and gets fat. They have parents that
That enable
indulge them in these
Yeah.
things and
Yeah.
enable them. Correct.
For sure.
And that's a big part of the Oompa Loompas criticism of these
Yeah.
people's lifestyles.
Yeah, and you see that all of the parents are really enablers to their children, and they're direct reason. They're the reason why these kids are allowed to just become just rotten in their own unique and special ways. But they are all pretty rotten, man, and it all comes to light as we move on through the factory. So to keep it pushing here, man. So Gloop's gone, his mom's gone. That's one down. So now there's four tours, four people left on the tour, including their not including their parents rather, and they move on. They're like, all right, we got to get to the next section of the factory. Let's hop on this boat. And they're gonna go on the Chocolate River. They're gonna sail down the Chocolate River on this boat, and things start to get a little weird when they get on this boat because they go on the boat and they're floating down the Chocolate River. It looks really cool, and then they start going through this tunnel. And when they start going through the tunnel, they start going a little faster. It's really dark in there, and then Wonka starts off on this poem, and it's like a song. It's a song, but the way that it's read, the way it's delivered by Gene Wilder is something incredible, and it just changes the whole tone of the movie. Because obviously, when you first come into the factory, you have the first song that we were talking about. You have the chocolate room. You have all these amazing images and scenery, and things are pretty lighthearted right up until Augustus gets sucked into the pipe, and then you're like, and I think partially you're kind of thinking, oh, maybe that's a one-off. Things will kind of be cool from now on, and then again, it gets really dark. So they're going through this tunnel in the boat on the Chocolate River, and things are getting dark. It's getting scary, and you start hearing Wonka, and he's almost talking to himself, and he starts off quiet, and as the boat continues to pick up speed and go through this tunnel, the tempo at which he starts to recite this song or this poem increases, his intensity increases, and it goes from basically a whisper in the beginning to at the end of it, he's literally just screaming unintelligibly, just at the top of his lungs. Everybody's freaking out. There's crazy images going on in the background, like maggots crawling out of like a dead body, and like something getting like its eye pecked out, like really disturbing imagery that's like flashing. It's like there's strobe lights,
A chicken being
and
decapitated.
a chicken being decapitated. Yeah, some really
Yeah,
disturbing imagery for a G-rated children's movie, and and so
absolutely.
what he recites goes a little something like this. It's called the rowing song. It goes round the world and home again. That's the sailor's way. Faster, 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 faster. There's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going. There's no knowing where we're rowing or which way the river's flowing. Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is a hurricane a blowing? Not a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing. Are the fires of hell a glowing? Is the grisly reaper mowing? Yes, the danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing. And that's like a really like mellow version of the way that Gene Wilder delivers it. And again, at the end of that, any signs that they are slowing line, he literally just lets out a high-pitched wail that just puts an
Mm,
exclamation point on the whole thing. And and just to break it down, if you were so mesmerized by my incredible delivery that you didn't really take time to
it gave
break
me
down the
goosebumps.
lyrics.
It gave me
Hey,
goosebumps.
hey man, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's largely about, I think, the uncertainty of life's path. It's about the first verse is kind of about modern technology and round the world and home again. That's the sailor's way. Before modern technology, even going back as far as the 70s, that kind of thing wasn't even possible before around that time or a little bit before then. That's the sailor's way. Faster, 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 and it kind of again just speaks to life's way of there's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going or how fast it's flowing. um, and it's
And
intense, man.
it
It's
is
intense.
intense. I think it perfectly encapsulates too the natural tones of anxiety that are just prevalent in everyone's life,
Hmm.
as they're living. And as far as the scene goes, it works really well because as he's picking up tempo, the boat is going faster, the images are flashing faster. But
And
like you
getting more
said,
intense.
right, but when you start to break down, yeah, the lyrics, like you said, it becomes this really, I wouldn't even say grotesque, just like this anxious view of what the journey of life is to a lot of people. And yeah, man, I think you captured that pretty well.
Yeah, it's super powerful.
Absolutely.
And I started reading into like some like fan theories. Because this I was really stuck on this poem for a while. And that's, if you look it up online, that they classify it as a poem by Roald Dahl, the same guy who wrote the story in the film, I believe. I was doing some research further into this part of the film and into this poem, and some of like the fan theories on why this part was so like out of left field and was so isolated in its intensity and how it delivers its message. People kind of theorize, and I kind of like this theory, that it was almost Wonka's security system in having a situation so intense and so early on in the tour. You kind of You're going to make people think twice about stealing from you. You're going to make people really pay attention to what's going on and what you have to say. It's going to give you more control of the situation, on Wonka's part, because I think he just really shook these people. I don't think these people have ever seen anything like that in their entire lives.
No.
And so now they're shook, and he kind of has them in the palm of his hand, right where he wants them.
Yeah.
And I
absolutely.
kind of like that theory.
I do like that theory. I just I don't think it worked for him.
Did not really work. No, these are some really really rotten kids. So
Really rotten kids.
let's move on to the next room, man. We finally get off this crazy boat and we're back on solid ground. We go into the next room, and I believe this is his invention room, correct?
It would be the invention room, and prior to opening it, he has a gigantic spiel in German. Um, just
Yes.
out of the blue, which lends credence to another theory, but we could get into that during categories because it's a lot to bite right now. But Nazi scientists, yeah,
I knew you were going there.
but right, and then they enter the invention room, and this is, of course, where you discover, um, I believe, the everlasting gobstopper,
Yep, each kid gets one.
right, as well as the gum.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So the gum is really interesting because in that scene, when he has this gigantic machine and it's ringing and rattling and it's pumping up smoke and it's doing all these things, um, it there's two jars atop of the machine, and they're both
Mhm.
they get like a second of frame time, and they're both filled with different types of bugs, and they're crawling around. I thought it was the eeriest thing. And they're like squeezing the bugs, I guess, for some kind of juice that he's mixing into the gum. Um, and it just always, I mean, even as a child, it struck me as really disturbing. Like, and it's just that kind of movie. It's like, why would you put this in there? Um,
Yeah, well, I mean, he also in that same invention room, he's got like a steaming vat. He puts like a jacket in it, and he
mhm,
goes to like another one. He's like mixing some stuff that's boiling, tosses a boot in there.
yeah,
There's no
yeah.
rhyme or reason to what he's doing or how he's doing it.
No, 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 no. But
He goes off pure vibes.
it creates the super gum that's basically a 3-course meal within a piece of chewing gum.
Yep.
And you
Solves
know,
world hunger. He said he's looking to solve world hunger.
yeah, and Violet's crazy ass just doesn't even skip a beat. She grabs a piece of gum and starts chewing on it instantly. They're all asking her how it tastes. And at this point, Willy Wonka's had enough of these children. He's just like, no, please don't. And he does that a few times with a few of the children, but he's just like knows something bad is gonna happen and just barely warns them.
Yeah, well,
As
the whole
they're
time he's kind of using it as an active review. She's chewing it. She's like, "Oh wow, yeah, it's steak and potatoes and yeah," and she's going on throughout the meal and describing what it tastes like, and she's so amazing. It's working. It's obviously working. She's experiencing exactly what he's looking to achieve, and then she gets to dessert, and she's like, "Oh, that's that's blueberry pie. That's so good," and he's like, "Yep." He's like, it always happens at the desserts. And he just like he knew exactly what was gonna happen. And like, do you think he was powerless to stop this girl from snatching the piece of gum and eating it? No, of course he wasn't. This was all, I don't know if I could say planned, but this was all carefully orchestrated by Mr. Wonka here. All
yeah,
right,
he's
and
weeding
she
them
was
out.
obviously
He's
gonna
weeding
take the
them
bait.
out.
Yeah, she was obviously gonna take the bait. And
Mm.
and when she gets to dessert, like Wonka says always happens, she starts to turn a little blue, and then a lot of blue, and starts to get a little swollen, and then a lot of swollen, and she turns into basically a giant inflatable violet. And
And we, of
she's
course,
just
get the
enormous.
fantastic, unforgettable line of
From Big
Violet,
Dad.
you're turning violet. Violet?
Violet, you're turning violet. Violet. Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes,
fantastic.
and also extremely accurate.
Yeah.
And so yeah, she turned, and she to where she can't even stand. She's like rolling. She's just over on her side, and she's just gigantic. And Wonka calls, plays his little flute, calls him the Oompa Loompa. Is like, yep, take her to the juicer room. He's like, the juicer room. He's like, yeah, we're gonna have to squeeze her out.
Mm.
Oh, he's just like,
Well, he
we're gonna
has a
have to just,
great question.
just inject
He goes,
blueberry.
is that air, Wonka? And he goes, no, it's juice.
It's juice.
We're gonna have to squeeze her.
Yeah, we're gonna squeeze her real good. And so yeah, so that's it. Now Violet's gone. She's gone. It's now we're down to three. We got good old Charlie left. We got Mike TV, and we have Veruca Salt.
Oh yeah, salt for sure.
Salt, yeah, she's salty. She's definitely salty.
She
So,
is.
and then of course, don't want to diss the Oompa Loompas. Got to give them their time. They come in, they clean up after Violet, and they sing another song about how gum chewing's fine when it's once in a while. It stops you from smoking and brightens your smile, but it's repulsive, revolting, and wrong. Chewing and chewing all day long, the way that a cow
A cow
does.
does.
The way that a cow does. That's awesome.
Oompa
It's just
loompa.
awesome songs. And
Don't
yeah, I mean,
copyright
honestly, that
me.
one's kind of like a roast. That one's kind of roast. I feel like the lyrics in that song don't really describe what's wrong with Violet's personality and why chewing gum makes her like kind of a monster. They just
I
kind
I
of blame it
also
on the
feel
gum chewing.
like I also feel like it's pro smoking a little bit. It's like, come on,
Yeah,
kid, just have a smoke. Like, what
just have a
are you doing?
smoke.
It's 1971. What are you doing with that gum? What are you,
Right.
dumb?
Yeah, you also kind of get the feeling that Wonka's not huge into gum. Like he's making this gum because it's like a 3-course meal and it's super easy to like attain, and apparently can solve world hunger. But he's not he's not super into gum, and he's definitely not into the fact that this girl chomps on gum all day long and sticks it behind her ear. I think he finds that almost as repulsive as Joey and I do.
Yeah, and I also think like even though it's kind of missed in the song, you do get it with the last verse, which is about her manners, because the way she just grabs the gum and assumes she can have whatever she wants and not like deal with the consequences or
Right.
have to listen to authority. uh Given good manners you will go far, and then the repeat of you will live in happiness too, like the Oompa Loompas do basically,
Mhm.
is like, yeah, man, know your place when you're in somebody else's house. Like, you just don't take what you want because you want it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just little monsters, man. Just little monsters, and
Little
they're
little
they're dropping like
monsters.
flies.
Yep, yep,
Dropping
yep,
like
yep.
flies.
Dropping like
So
flies. And
so
that
we move
wanting.
on.
Right.
Yeah. We're so we move on. We're gonna go to. Do they go right to the next room? I don't think there's. Or do they? Is this where they hop on the bubbly car?
They hop on the bubbly car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They do, don't they?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
The bubbly car's awesome. That's a great scene.
So,
There's not a whole lot to break down, ladies and gentlemen, but the
no.
bubbly car scene is awesome. They jump in this wacky, uh, Dr. Seuss looking
Yes.
piece of transportation,
Yeah.
and they get on. Wonka's sitting super up high, and then like the passengers are like lower and like kind of scattered all over the place. And he's like, oh well, how does this thing run? And it's like it runs entirely off of soda, like all the kind of carbonated beverages that we use in our factory and in our products. That's how this vehicle runs. And the Oompa Loompas are dumping just a ridiculous amount of like soda into the top of this contraption, and he runs
Yeah.
in, it turns on, and the amount of bubbles and foam it produces and shoots out of these exhaust pipes all over the passengers, like
Oh my
all over.
God.
It's hilarious. It's awesome. It had
Hilarious.
me cracking up. And even Wonka himself is just covered. It's covering his eyes and his face. He can't even see where he's driving this thing. And he's again the whole time just incoherently rambling in German,
Yes.
inexplicably and incoherently rambling in German, and
Yeah,
it's
we'll get
just like
back to the German,
nobody,
but yeah, it's
yeah,
sketchy.
nobody here can understand what you're saying, and nor do we understand why you're doing it.
Right.
And then at the end of this journey, which is not very long, they go through this like it's very cleverly
Automatic
done where
car wash.
the screen is split like this, and then as they go through the side that comes out, and again anybody listening audio only is not going to be able to see my display here, but as the contraption passes through this little car wash, which again is just like basically a curtain that it passes through, it's just
Right.
spotless. It all
Yeah.
like, and the people who were all covered in soda and foam and fizz, essentially like I think Mike TV's mom was like, it's like I've been dry cleaned.
It's like I've been dry cleaned. Yes,
Yeah,
that's exactly the line she says.
yeah.
100%. Yep,
Another
that's
piece of amazing
fantastic.
technology by Wonka. Has nothing to do with candy. Absolutely nothing to do
Nothing
with
at
candy.
all. He's
He
just like,
could be
I
a
hate
billionaire
showers.
from car washes, and instead he just uses it to wash his absurdly ridiculous and unpractical contraption. Again, and I don't know if you guys got this, but that whole journey where they got completely that this whole journey I've been describing for the past like 3 minutes took them maybe 60 feet. It's hilarious. it's
I think the
so
scene is
awesome.
shorter than our explanation, but yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. Yeah,
Spencer
I had
throwing
to
in.
paint a picture for him. I had to paint a picture for you.
I like it. I like
So
it
we
for
get to the
sure.
next room, and Joe, you want to tell us what's in the next room, bud?
Sure. So in the next room, Willy Wonka has all these geese that lay golden eggs, golden chocolate eggs, if such a thing exists, and all
Giant
around
geese.
giant geese,
They're
and all
giant.
around the room, after these giant geese lay the eggs, they land on these platforms, and the platforms rank whether the egg is a good egg or a bad egg, and the bad eggs get dropped into the furnace, and the good eggs
Into the trash, into the garbage, the garbage disposal.
garbage disposal, but he says there's a
Yeah.
furnace. He does
Yeah, but they
mention
only
the
run it every
furnace.
other day.
They only run every other day. Yeah, 50% chance. And then the good eggs get taken away in a little golden shopping cart by an Oompa Loompa who takes care of it and does I don't know what with it. Um,
Yeah. Not
and
important.
no, not important. But what is important about this scene is our little star, Veruca. Now, she wants a golden goose. She does. She wants it now, as she's been
Yep.
saying to her daddy the entire time. She
Yes.
goes,
By the way, this is probably my second favorite song in the whole movie.
"Oh my God, it's so good." Yeah, and she does
I
a
love
great
it.
job. Shout out to that
She does. She
kid who's
does.
definitely retired now.
Yeah. But
But
she goes off in that scene.
she goes off. Uh, what's the best part? I don't even know. You could pick one. I want a
My
feast. I want a bean feast. Cream buns and
yeah.
donuts and fruitcake with no nuts. So good you could go nuts.
That's awesome. I like the third verse. I want the world. I want
I
the
want the
whole
whole
world.
world.
It's
I
awesome. I
want to
just leave it
lock
right
it
at
all
that.
up in my pocket. It's my
I
bar
want
of
the whole
chocolate.
world.
Give it to me now.
It's a really good song. It's actually one of the more lengthy songs in the whole movie.
It
And rightfully
is.
so. It really
Yeah.
delivers. And the whole time she's singing this song, she's running around and she's throwing a tantrum. She's singing and it's awesome, but she is throwing a tantrum. She's destroying everything in the room. She's kicking golden eggs around. She's taking ribbons of whatever and just strewing it across the room. And
Yeah.
Wonka's just sitting by idly watching it happen. He's not going to stop her. It's like she's don't worry. He's pretty confident this whole situation is going to rectify itself.
Yeah. And it does. It surely does. Because by the end of the musical number, she goes and now don't care how I want it now, don't care how I want it now, and in that moment jumps on top of one of the
Scales.
the scales for
The
the
good egg,
eggs.
bad egg scales.
Yes, and she's a bad egg. We all knew
Bad
she
egg.
was a bad egg. Boom, right to the
Bad
furnace.
egg.
Right to
It wastes no time to like a lot of the eggs when they drop down, they're like they sit on the scale for a minute and then it goes to whichever side. Hers, the
right,
minute she hits that thing, boom, immediate bad egg, bam, garbage.
right away,
Hilarious. Hilarious. And
right
then
away.
her dad runs after her. He's like, no, no, jumps on it, immediate bad egg as well. Boom, you're in
Immediate
the
bad
garbage
egg.
chute
Yeah,
too.
it turns out
Yeah.
bad geese make bad eggs, and that
Indeed.
father was a bad goose.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
He was a very
Yeah.
rotten
Back
goose.
to the garbage chute with both of you.
Yeah, and it's
Man, what a
another
good song
great
though.
moment where he does the fiddle, calls Oompa Loompa. He's like, "Hey, go down and see if they're alive." And then everyone's like, "Are they going to be okay?" And he's like, 50% chance. We only turn on the furnace every other day, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Right. I think this is the first one where you're like, all right, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're done. Like, I'm pretty sure they're goners.
Pretty
Like,
sure they're
the other
dead.
ones
Yeah.
were there was like plausible deniability. This one is just like, no, I mean, how do you survive that? Honestly.
They're
So,
definitely gone.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. So now we're down to two, man. We're down to two. And to get to the next room, we don't have any fancy modes of transportation. We're just gonna take an old-fashioned stroll through a quick hallway. But in that hallway, on the way to their next room, they make a quick detour, and Wonka shows them his new project that's still very much in development. It's the fizzy
Fizzy lifting pop.
fizzy lifting pump. Is that just what he calls it?
I think we may have messed up the order of that, by the way. Yeah, the fizzy lifting pop, I'm 90% sure happens before Veruca
Really?
falls. I think so. Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I think
crazy. We just watched this movie, both of us, in the past 48 hours. I
both
can't
of us.
listen. Regardless of whether it happens before Veruca's demise or before the next child's demise, we just got to touch on it real quick. You know,
Yeah,
there's the fizzy lifting drink. It's the soda where you drink it, and the bubbles make you float, that you can fly. And
right.
Wonka says it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. And then a couple of the people say, they're like, "Oh, can we just try a little sip?" He's, no, 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 no. It's much too powerful. No, sorry, but the answer is no. He said, let's move on. And they just kind of keep the rest of the tour keeps walking. And I think you're right. I think it's probably would have been a little bit easier to notice that they lagged behind if it was just Mike TV and his mom walking with Wonka. I think it was Mike
Right.
TV, Veruca, and her dad and Wonka. They walk off, and Charlie and no good
No
Grandpa
good,
Joe,
Grandpa Joe.
they
Grandpa Joe
stay
right away with
behind.
his shit, dude.
Yeah, man. And he's like, hey, Charlie, let's
What's
drink a
that?
little bit of soda.
Let's have a little. Come on,
Let's have a little
grandson.
sip, just a little taste. And Charlie, being the upstanding great child he is, he's like, no, man. Like Wonka just said, like we can't, like we're not supposed to. That's no good. And Grandpa Joe's just like, man, I've been in bed for 20 years. I'm not gonna start being a good person now. And so he drinks the soda. Right? Is that essentially how that goes?
Kinda, yeah, yeah, it does. So
Essentially how that goes.
they drink the fizzy pop and they start floating up this like chute with like a big fan turbine, and they get all
Yeah.
the way to the top, man, and it looks like they're gonna be chopped into a million pieces. And that's
Right.
when one of them burps. I believe it's Charlie. And with every
That's
burp
Uncle
it's
Joe
released.
first.
Oh, Grandpa
Or
Joe, yeah.
Grandpa Joe, not Uncle Joe.
So
Uncle Joe wasn't there.
he burps and then that releases a gas and lets him fall down. And he tells Charlie, just burp, you'll get to the bottom. So eventually they get back to the bottom and they rejoin the rest of the group, and that's where we end up with the golden geese.
Yeah, okay,
Um
yeah, we
yeah,
got that a little bit
100%.
back. We're sorry about that, folks.
However, one thing about that scene is that, despite not being able to read the contract that they signed, a part of the contract was not to steal and not to have
Right.
anything you're not supposed to have, or
Yeah,
that Wonka says is not ready, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah.
And they of
Also,
course
they
do.
touched the roof, which is now going to have to be disinfected,
Yeah, right,
or the
exactly.
ceiling.
Bastards. Yeah, absolutely.
Disgusting.
So they broke the rules
They got their
already.
poor hands all over it.
Their poor grubby hands all over it, crazy. Um, oh my god. So So now that brings us right to Mike TV.
Yes, the TV room. Mike TV's favorite room, the TV room.
It's
And
fantastic.
yeah, I guess you explained the golden geese, or the giant geese with the golden eggs. So I'll kind of break down the TV room. It's essentially it's this all white, like really sterile looking room, and on one end you have like a small box the size of like a 1970s era TV, and then you have like this giant contraption that looks like a mixture between like a Hubble telescope and like a projector from your math class when you were in elementary school.
Yeah.
And they're using this contraption to take a piece of chocolate, a giant chocolate bar. It's going to essentially use Wonka magic to transport it through the TV so that you can grab it somewhere else. It can teleport
It's not
the
Wonka
chocolate,
magic, it's
essentially.
Wonka vision, okay?
It's Wonka
And what
vision,
happens is
yes,
the
which is a form
gigantic
of Wonka magic.
piece of chocolate, like the size of half my bedroom,
Yeah.
turns into a million little particles over their head, goes into the TV, because everything's smaller on TV, so you got to start big to get small, because that makes sense. I, I don't know how that's a viable business situation, because you're bound to
All
lose
podcast
money.
listeners, I'm shaking my head no, because that's not how that works. This is
And
not how
then it
that
ends up in the TV. And you
works.
can reach through the TV, no smudges on your screen, and just grab it right out that
Yep.
motherfucker.
Yep.
And nobody believes that this is possible. And then Mike TV grabs a chocolate bar out of the TV and absolutely freaks out. He's like, "You could be
Yeah. Like,
changing
it's a
the
TV
world
dinner.
with this. What are you
It's a
doing?"
TV dinner.
It's a TV dinner. Yeah, it's a
Good
TV
line.
dinner is crazy. It's a chocolate
It's
bar, number
awesome.
one. Number two, how do you know
Right.
that's not just a box with the chocolate in it?
Right. And also, how even if they are really making this giant chocolate and transporting it somewhere else and making it into tiny version of it, that's how are you going to make any kind of profit with that or make it a viable thing that you could sell? Because it just doesn't make sense. You're taking like thousands of dollars worth of chocolate and then making it into like $1 worth of chocolate. It just doesn't make, it's not a good business strategy, man.
Well, right. And how does it end up in everyone's television sets at home where anyone can grab it?
Nope.
How much does the Wonka Vision television set cost? That's what I
Like,
want to know.
and probably an unfathomable amount of money.
Then you got to wait
it's
for the
just,
commercial. Absolutely wild.
yeah, as the great wise Johnny Cochran once said, that does not make sense.
That's facts. Yeah. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
OJ didn't do it. All right. So, God.
That was for the YouTube folks only.
This is for real, for 100%. Oh man. So,
all right.
so my
then,
TV,
yeah,
yeah,
kid's obsessed with TV. So he sees a chocolate bar go through the TV, and obviously he wants to be that chocolate bar.
right, right. So he steps on the platform in front of the shady ray gun and gets blasted into a million pieces, sent across the room and into the television set.
Yep.
Which is absolutely wild. And his
Bonkers.
mother is freaking out, picks him up
Rightfully
out
so.
of the TV like he's an Indian in the cupboard, and throws him in her purse. Okay. And at this point, she's like, what am I gonna do? Wonka, help, da da da, like everybody else. And he just goes, we're gonna have to bring him to the taffy stretcher or whatever, where they stretch taffy, and they're going to put this dude in binds and just pull him.
Yeah, you just gotta stretch him. He says something about children being very like elastic, especially when they get shrunk. It seems like he has some kind of previous experience with this,
with
and
the
so
Oompa Loompas, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he seems fairly confident that he could just kind of stretch him back to normal, and I don't agree. Again, he's small enough to fit in her purse, and also, if I don't know if you caught this, when he takes the purse, so Mike TV's mom grabs his tiny little body, he puts it in her purse, and then Wonka takes the purse from her to give to the Oompa Loompas. And as he's walking over to the Oompa Loompas, he's just swinging this thing, swinging that thing, bro.
Yes. Dude, he's a madman, bro.
I never noticed that until this watch through, man.
He puts his arm around her and he's just violently swinging it back and forth. And then he hands the purse to the Oompa Loompa and goes, there's a child in there. Be careful.
Be careful. That's awesome, man. God, Gene Wilder's delivery and portrayal of this role. One of my favorites of all time, man. That's why I'm so glad we're doing this.
It really should be studied. Yeah.
And then and then the Oompa Loompas, after they take Michael away to go be hopefully stretched back to normal, they go into another song about, what do you get from a glut of TV? A pain in the neck and an IQ of 3, which is hilarious. This is a really clever
Why
one.
don't you try simply reading a book? Or could you just not bear to look?
You'll get no. They like really switch it up with
You'll
this
get
one.
no commercials.
That's awesome.
Except for the ones in the mind.
And then they close that one with if you're not greedy, you will go far. So again, it's the greed of the instant gratification of always being sat in front of a television, of being able to just peruse through channels and have all of that freedom of the 1970s of having 7 different channels to choose from. I mean, the endless entertainment. My God.
Right. And quick and quick dopamine releases, which is kind of like our entire civilization at this moment.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
But and again, I think the difference is like I think TV was really just becoming a thing that was in households like worldwide at that time, and it kind of speaks to the fact that was kind of a social and almost a political issue at that time where. And again, a lot of the stuff we talk about on the show, folks, we cover a lot of issues that we pose as social issues and social themes, and we don't dive like a lot really into politics because just like we said on the intro, to our podcast, the very first thing we ever recorded, we're not Fox, we're not CNN, we're not what we're and more importantly than that, folks, is social issues become political issues. And that happens because they're relevant to the things that are happening at that time. So when we're covering this stuff, I want you guys to realize that just because it's a social issue and that we talk about today, that may have been a political issue that was directly driving politics and world governments and leadership based on things that were happening, like kids watching too much TV and rotting their brains and things of that nature. You
Right.
get where I'm coming from, right, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's funny, like when you look through history and the different forms of entertainment, you know, af- when secular what is it? Secular is religious, right? Non-secular is non-secular is religious, secular is non-religious. So when like secular entertainment first became a thing, like I'm talking hundreds of years ago, and not that it was the first time it was a thing, but when it was prevalent in like, you know, city type societies, things
Hmm.
like plays and things strictly for entertainment, you know, music and whatever, it was deemed as, you know, a negative to society by a lot of the talking heads of the day. And the
Yeah.
same thing with like fiction books and reading. And, you know, if it wasn't religious text or it wasn't tied to religion in some way, it was deemed a negative for society. And we get a lot of that today, but you know, TV, same thing. Like what's this box that's brainwashing everyone? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? With all the moving pictures and things like this. Like, you know, so every form of entertainment has had this hurdle before becoming a mainstay in society. And whether it's good or bad is really how people choose to use these mediums and view them and think about them.
For sure.
So like nothing in entertainment is inherently good or bad. It's about what's your takeaway from it. And you know, did you find something to learn that's deeper here or not? You
Yeah,
know?
and that's what we're here for. That's what our podcast is all about, man. And
Yeah.
to just kind of double down on that, it's just, you know, excuse me, just to double down on that, you look at different types of media when they're challenged by the people in power. Really, when they're challenged by generally anybody, when you're talking about strictly form of entertainment, especially when it's not meant to be volatile, it's not volatile in nature or trouble causing in nature. What they're upset about is the fact that these different pieces of media and these ideas that are being put forward and presented to you are going to make you think.
Right.
They're going to make you think, and they tend to have people form opinions and ideas of their own, and that scares people in power, man, because they lose a little bit of that control when they lose control of your mind. They lose a little bit of their power, and that scares them,
Yeah,
and
for
that's why
sure.
they attack it. And that's why we love doing this, and we want to do this for a long time, because we love people thinking individually for themselves. We love people taking something that looks as simple as kids going to eat chocolate and candy in a chocolate factory and really look deeper into what the heck is really going on here,
Right.
and really
Because it's
explore the
layered,
deeper
man.
meanings. But it is, and any
Yeah.
any piece of good media is, man. That's what we're here to cover all day.
And in fact, you know, like like continuing on and getting back to that, it's like the scene that that follows Mike TV's, let's call it demise,
Yes.
undoubtedly is kind of like an unceremonious ending to the tour. I mean, Wonka, Grandpa Joe, and Charlie walk out of that room, end up in another room, and the tour is kind of like the building's kind of reach an end. He goes into his own office and just doesn't really say anything. And Grandpa Joe's like, "Oh, well, what about the chocolate, this and that, blah blah blah." And he goes, "Oh, well, today was a wasted day. The exit's that way.
Yep.
Sorry, I can't see you out." Blah blah blah, and that's because they already broke the clause.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, at this point, Grandpa Joe is like, "Screw this guy! I'm going in there to talk to him." So he walks
Right.
in probably the only good thing he does. He definitely follows that up with another stupid thing. But he goes into the room where Wonka is, and he goes, "Hey, what about Charlie? What about the lifetime supply of chocolate? This and that." And and then that's when Willie kind of has another freak out moment, but
He does.
you kind of see like a crazier side to his personality. And the craziest part about it is that it's still an act because he's still giving Charlie the opportunity to do the right thing.
Yep.
Um and in that moment where he's scolding them for violating the contract, Grandpa Joe calls him a piece of shit and all this, starts to walk away, and he goes, "Come on, Charlie, if Slugworth wants an everlasting gobstopper, he'll get one."
He's gonna get one.
And
Yeah.
and then at that moment, Charlie stops, goes in his pocket, grabs the everlasting gobstopper, walks back to Willy Wonka, puts it on the desk, and then walks away, just ready, to accept defeat. And
Yep.
that's when Willy Wonka kind of like turns, and he's like happy as hell, and you're like, what happened to this psychopath we were just
Right.
dealing with? And he's like, you
Right.
won, you did it, it's all gravy, I
Yeah.
had to push you, I had to do this.
It's all gravy. Well, and real quick, I just want to just rewind a little bit. You said it's the
Yeah.
one good thing that Grandpa Joe does, and I agree, but it is kind of funny that the one good thing that Grandpa Joe does in the movie is start a confrontation about something he was blatantly wrong about. He was wrong. He was in the wrong. They
Yes.
did cheat. They did fail. They
Yeah.
lost. You lose, sir. Good day.
Good day, sir.
Good day. I said
Oh
good
my-
day, sir. That's one of my
Dude,
favorite lines
that's
in history.
fantastic, bro.
Love it. I
Fantastic.
said good day, sir. Ooh, man.
And then he's reading the
Powerful.
contract. He pulls out the magnifying glass. and
Yeah, he's got like
and
a scroll.
He
He's like,
says all these like Latin terms, and then he's like, et cetera, et cetera.
et cetera, et cetera. It's very clear in plain black and white. Yeah, but yeah, and
You
like you
win
said, man,
nothing, you
win nothing,
lose.
you lose. Good day, sir. Man, I love that line. He delivers that
So
shit so
good.
good.
It's
And
so good. You're right.
So yeah, so then like you said, I mean, Charlie does the right thing. He gives the everlasting gobstopper back, and Wonka's elated. And and this is when you realize it's like, okay, this has all been a test, and this is, yes, a madman for sure, but he is also a genius, and he is also extremely passionate about what he does, and
He's like
wants
Kanye
that.
West.
Yeah, I think he wants that passion to live on, and like he says, so they get into this contraption. It looks like an elevator, but right before that, we got to go back to the whole Slugworth thing. You want to cap? I feel like you were almost there.
Oh, yeah, sure. So Slugworth, he opens the door and he goes, say hi to whoever. And it's Slugworth from the beginning, the guy in charge of Slugworth Chocolate Incorporated, who's been trying to buy his secrets. And Charlie's like, oh my God, it's Slugworth. And he goes, no, that's not Slugworth. This is my associate. He's pretending to be this person, which made me think about a bunch of other things. Like, is Slugworth Chocolate Incorporated a subsidiary of Wonka?
Good question.
It's a decent question. Did he just
Yeah.
have this like false company spy rival, like fake rivalry? Because it's genius, honestly. If
Yeah,
that's the
that would
case.
be pretty genius. That's pretty hilarious. I never even thought about that theory. I do think it's hilarious. Just the delivery is just like, nah, that guy works for me. It's like it's so good. I
Yeah.
think the one thing I will say, even though I know it might not even be like necessarily in the same canon or the same universe, probably not, but in the newest iteration of Willy Wonka's Tales, where Timothy Chalamet plays him, Slugworth is a legitimate other person and competitor, and he's a real rotten guy. So I'd like to
Okay.
believe that Slugworth, the company, does exist to compete with Wonka, and they are, the second best company in the world. But I think that gap is really big, and I don't
Right.
think Wonka and his people would let Slugworth get. I won't let you get that chance, stupid.
Stupid. Only had the
Stupid.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So after that reveal, they get into this contraption, and it looks just like a pretty plain elevator, maybe like a glass elevator. And he says, "Yeah, guys, we're gonna, you guys won." He's just explaining, you win all these things, you're getting all this stuff. And Charlie, he's like, I realized when a while back that I can't do this forever, and I can't leave my company to an adult, it's got to be the child with basically an uncorrupted heart and soul that can take on and follow in his footsteps, follow in Wonka's footsteps, and continue the greatness of the Wonka company and the Wonka chocolate and products. And so he goes, yeah, we're gonna go on this elevator, and he says something along the lines of, I've used this elevator, I've pressed every button on this elevator. It's not just any normal elevator. You don't just go up and down. You can go up ways and down ways and sideways and slant ways and front ways and back ways, and says all this fun stuff. And he's like, but I haven't pressed this button. He's like, what is that one? He's like, that one goes up. And he presses the red button. It's this big red button on the contraption. They start accelerating at a high rate of speed towards the ceiling, and Grandpa Joe's freaking out. He's like, this is a glass elevator. We're going to be cut to ribbons. And then the next shot is you see the elevator exploding out of the ceiling. Elevator clearly does not have a glass ceiling. It's like a rock. It looks like a brass rocket ship almost.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and
Looks like
so
a
I don't
Christmas
know
ornament.
what Grandpa Joe was tripping about. I don't know if he was still like bugging off that fizzy soda or something, but there was not a glass ceiling. They were absolutely fine. And it goes this really magical shot of them floating above the city, which to me looks like England. Like I can't imagine any American city that looks like that shot. It
No,
looks
not
like
at
somewhere
all.
in England. And it's
Yeah.
very picturesque, and they're floating in the pure the music, the musical part, not the actual singing, but the music of the Pure Imagination song is playing in the background. It's very picturesque. And that's it, man. That's where we
Yeah.
wrap.
And Charlie is now the proud owner of Wonka's Chocolate Factory,
Yep, the
and
proprietor.
also a
And
Padawan of sorts of
yeah, Wonka said he's
chocolatier.
gonna stay around. He's gonna stay around for a bit to show him the ropes and show him how to do everything. So he's not just
And
like
teach
leaving
him
them
all
to the
his
wolves. And
secrets.
yeah, he's not just gonna
Right.
leave him there with the wolves and the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, and his whole family can move in and they're no longer poor. It's got a real happy ending. And I think
It
what's really
does.
nice about the ending is that it kind of like, instead of like wealth and privilege and like you know your cast in life for like determining where you're going to end up kind of has a hopeful message that like no, your moral character, your level of integrity and empathy is something that can actually shoot you through that glass ceiling, so to speak,
Yeah.
beyond any level of selfishness can, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. It's
Which I
an
think there's
ending
some
where
truth to that, but like there also, depends who you ask and where. But like,
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's a
I
pretty
think if you're
utopian ideology. I
right,
think it's a utopian ideology where like integrity triumphs over greed and selfishness. And
hmm
the deserving poor people are rewarded not through exploitation but through goodness, like the inherent goodness of Wonka to transfer the power from him being a capitalist elite to this kid who's just a commoner, and he maybe not even a commoner, really he's below that. These guys are absolutely from the his family is from the lowest rung of society. They're
yeah,
absolutely dirt poor. They're eating cabbage soup every day for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and now they're wealthy beyond their wildest dreams.
yeah,
And it is a very utopian ending for sure.
100%. Yeah, man,
And
and
so
that's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
yeah, man. And the
We're gonna
last note I have here is that it imagines a world where capitalism is redeemed through compassion, where
right,
the system is humanized rather than destroyed. And
yeah,
I think that's what makes it such a magical like movie to watch, and to even be able to experience with a different perspective in your late 20s, early 30s, with a more adult perspective, and seeing both sides of the fence as far as the rich elite and the struggling poor. It's just so awesome, man. It really is.
it is awesome. It's a fantastic story, and it definitely, like we said in the beginning of this video, it just holds a real special place in my childhood and my memories, and even
Mhm.
now, like it's something that when I have kids, I can't wait to show them. You know what I mean?
Agreed. 100%.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like you got to pass it on.
Yeah,
Not
man.
quite chitty chitty bang bang.
Yeah.
Next week's episode, where are the children? No, you remember that guy? Anyway,
Not particularly, no, sir.
dude,
Not
I got you.
particularly.
I got you later.
All right, yeah, send me the clip.
Yo, run. But yeah, I'm definitely happy that we covered this. And
Me too.
again, it is a bit of a horror movie, so brace
It
yourselves
definitely
if
is.
if
Yeah.
you're gonna
So
rewatch
yeah,
it.
please bear with us and accept this as our second submission for spooky season for Halloween. We're gonna drop this on Halloween Day most likely. So hope you guys enjoy that and have a safe and happy Halloween, all that good stuff. Joey, I think we're ready to get into some categories, man. This is usually the time where going forward, I really hope to be able to take some listener questions. I hope you guys have some stuff you want to ask us. Like right now, the world is your oyster. If you guys want to ask us some wild, wacky, out there questions, there's never a more likely time that it's going to get answered live on air than now. So please send your questions, comments, suggestions. Hit us up on YouTube on our comments section. Hit us or just send them to our email. It's geeksandgovernance@gmail.com. And please, we want to hear from you guys. We want to engage with the community. We think that'd be really cool. But for now, we're gonna get into categories since we don't have any listener questions quite yet. Joe, you want to lead off with categories, or you want me to start with mine?
I could start with the first one. Yeah.
Go for it, brother.
So, all right. If if you had to be the father of one of the children in the film, can't be Charlie. Too easy. Who would it be? Who would you want to be the father of? Or mother,
All right,
you know?
so it's got to be one of the kids that gets eliminated. Obviously, can't be Charlie. I would be cool if it was Charlie. I would love a lifetime supply of chocolate.
Facts.
But I would probably have to go with
It's a tough one.
I gotta
None of
go with
them are
Augustus
great.
Gloop. I gotta go with Augustus Gloop's parents. My thing is, all right, so dig this, right? Hear me
Let's
out.
hear it.
His parents love to eat too, right?
Right.
There's a very good chance that Augustus Gloop is now 100% composed of fudge.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Match made in heaven. I don't see the problem.
You're gonna eat Augustus Gloop?
I never said that. I just said I don't see the problem. We're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna let the listeners use their imagination.
Okay. All right. We're gonna move past it.
Listen, honorable mention would be the parent of Mike TV because he really did not seem that bummed out about being tiny because he was on TV, in TV, is TV, one of those
right.
things.
He is TV, Mr.
Right.
TV. Yeah.
What about you, man?
Oof, I'm not gonna lie, having a hard time with this one. I think it's Mike TV, man. I think it is.
Right.
I think me and him
He's
would
still
have a
alive.
blast, dude. And you know what? He's young. We could teach him some things, you know?
Right.
No guns till you're 21, maybe 18. I don't know, something.
I mean, depending on how big they can stretch him, he might not be able to hold a gun. It might be bigger than him.
Yeah,
It really
that's
depends on the
also
Oompa Loompa stretching capabilities, honestly.
that's also true. That's also
Yeah.
true. But
Yeah.
I think Mike TV is still teachable. He's American enough. He
Very
doesn't put
American.
gum behind his ear.
True.
He's
That's big.
you know, not for nothing they do joke about his IQ, but he's pretty smart, you know. He
Yeah.
explains perfectly well how televisions work.
He does. He has a
Yeah,
good
man,
grasp on that.
a great grasp. I mean, that's a possible scientist in the future. That's a Farnsworth. I'll take him.
A tiny little scientist.
I'll take him. Tiny little scientist, or a really tall, skinny scientist. Whatever.
Right.
It can Bob Crane him up. I'm with it.
Either one works. I like that, man.
Yeah.
So
So what do you got?
so take that and just that kind of like that same question, but you got to choose one of the children's fate. So you got to be one of the children that got eliminated. Who are you going with? Who do you think has the best chance of being okay through this whole ordeal?
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm taking the furnace 50-50 shot.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude. Bad egg. I'm going right in. I'm hoping to God that that's not furnace day, and I'm good. But
That's awesome.
nothing's guaranteed, I guess. But I would
No.
imagine he's not gonna have a tour in his factory on the day that the furnaces are
He's
on.
running the furnace.
I would feel like
Man.
maybe he planned it not to be that way, unless he's just a murdering psychopath, which, you know,
Or
who
if you want
knows?
your place to smell really clean, you know, you don't want a bunch of trash, you got to run that furnace, buddy.
That's true. That's
You
true too.
know,
I'm sure they have a
I don't
lot of
love your
waste.
odds. I don't love those 50-50 odds. That's why you don't walk into a casino and put everything you're willing to lose that night on black. It's
Dude,
like you just,
you
I
don't
mean,
know
I
me.
guess I'm sure
I've
some
done
people
it.
do. You're psycho. You're crazy. You're like, this is just crazy enough to work.
I'm gonna be rich.
So rich.
Yeah, I'm going right into the furnace,
50%
dude.
richer than I was when I walked in here.
What are you thinking? Who's your fate? What's your fate? You getting juiced? What's your deal?
Yeah. Honestly, I am, brother. I'm going with the blue because I'm thinking, I'm hoping they can juice me. All right, and then first
Okay.
off, I'll be able
To drink your own
So
juice?
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say drink my own juice, and then I considered bailing halfway through the sentence, and then you kind of you convinced me to just jump in. So yeah, 100%. I'd at least have to try a cup of my own blueberry juice. I'd have to try at least a sip, and then the way I see it, man, even if you can't completely unjuice me, and I'm stuck being blue forever, I could join the Blue Man Group, do like a residency in Vegas.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
You got high
Yeah.
hopes. I like it.
Maybe play like Fat Mystique in X-Men 12.
You're making lemonade out of grapes, dude, and I like
Yes,
it.
dude. Yes, dude.
I like it. That was cold. Oh my god.
Yeah, I thought about that while you were answering your other question. I'm like, wait, hold on. This is just crazy enough to work.
That's insane. Okay, so all right. Listen, this is a simple question. It's not that hard. It is Halloween. Let's keep it
Okay.
candy related for a second. If
Righteous.
you could pick a lifetime supply, and I don't mean lifetime supply like 2 a day, like no, like as much as you fucking wanted forever, for the rest of forever, a lifetime supply of any candy, what would it be?
Oof. Man, that's hard. I have I really only have probably like 3 or 4 candies that I would be willing to eat at like any given day, any given time.
Okay.
Most of them are Reese's based.
Okay.
So I would probably have to go with a Reese's peanut butter cup, because then I can, as long as it's just like a regular peanut butter cup, then I can take that and do different things. I could put them in ice cream. I could put some pretzels in there with them and make the other little things that they said. I'm going with Reese's, man. I love Reese's. You can't go wrong.
I like it. I like it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
OG peanut butter cup. It's a good pick.
And it is pronounced Reese's, folks. It's not Reese's.
I said,
It's not Reese's.
What did I say? Did I say Reese's
It's Reese's.
or Reese's?
I think you said Reese's. I think
I said Reese's.
I think we're in
did it
agreement
right.
there.
Yeah, 100%.
It irks me when
I think
people
I
say
switch
Reese's,
it
dude.
once
It's one
in
of
a
those
while.
things. One of those things. I'm like, what did you say?
Get over here. So, man, me.
Yeah, what's yours?
It's not a good one. It's
never see you eat
universally
candy.
hated. No, I'm not a candy guy, but if I had to pick one, I'm going Hershey's Cookies and Cream chocolate bar.
Ooh, that's a good choice, man. Those are good. Those slap.
Yeah.
But you told me something about those that made me eat significantly less of them.
Yeah.
Which is
They're
crazy
hardened
that you
oils.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no chocolate in it.
It's not chocolate.
There's no chocolate involved.
There's no chocolate in it.
It's got nothing to do with chocolate.
The little bits of Oreo are technically chocolate, but the rest of it is not chocolate based whatsoever. It's a collection of like chemicals and oils that they harden into like a milky bar. I'm gonna tell you right now, slaps. Give me
I really
lifetime
enjoyed those
supply.
until you told me that, dude. You told me that like a few years ago, and like my consumption of those went down from like maybe like 3 or 4 a year to like none ever.
You know it's nuts. I still eat one like once a week.
That's crazy.
I don't care, dude.
Like,
I don't
wake
care
up in the
at all.
morning, like I'm fiending for some hardened oil.
Do you want to know what's in a hot dog?
Pork bits, animal bits, assorted
Maybe
animal
human.
bits.
Who knows?
Yeah,
but it's
probably
delicious.
a little bit of human. Accidents happen.
Yeah. I'll take a lifetime supply.
Yeah.
So what's your question?
So a couple of things we see in Wonka. We talked a couple times about Wonka magic, in the
Okay.
factory, and we essentially see him display two magical abilities, in my opinion, or superpowers, if you want to call them that. The power of flight, because he makes a glass elevator fly up into the sky and just
And the fizzy
fly
pop.
at will, and the fizzy pop, and kind of displays the power to make anything edible. Like he's got this whole room of everything is edible. You can eat anything. So, what power would you rather have? The ability to fly or the ability to make anything that you want or touch edible?
Okay, so I have a question about turning whatever I want into something edible. Can I
Okay.
turn it back?
No.
Okay, no, I'm not picking that. I'm going fly because I could
Okay.
imagine me turning like my girlfriend possibly into food,
Well, it
or
would have to be intentional. You're not just going to do it
I
accidentally.
might do it intentionally. That's what I'm saying. I
Oh my
can't.
God.
I can't just like, no, dude, I can't do that. That's
Redefining the statement, you're looking like a snack. Joey's getting literal with it.
oh, oh my god.
Well, good
Or
enough to
if you're
eat.
watching this, I'm sorry, but yeah. Roast
All
chicken.
right.
Boom.
Well,
Um, what are you going with?
I'm going with the power to make anything edible, dude, because Wonka has all these far-fetched ideas about stopping world hunger with what? A piece of bubblegum with no nutritional value or a giant chocolate bar that you whizzed through the TV and made exponentially smaller? That's not going to get the job done, brother.
Most of the world
But if
doesn't
I
even
can
have TVs in
No, exactly. But
1971.
if I can walk into any continent on the planet and just start grabbing stuff like, hey, here's this rock. It's got for your entire daily's worth of protein and carbohydrates and nutrients, and I just like made it a delicious magical food. I mean, you're saving the world. You're literally saving the world. You're changing the course of human history.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
You're gonna have a
yeah, man.
taxing job. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tax people for sure.
That's not what I said. That's not what I meant.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. It's just like, yeah, I want to help the world for money.
Well, listen, man. Listen, how am I going to get to all these different continents and countries? All right. God
Traveling
wants me to
free.
have a private jet. As
Dude,
that was
my dude's
that one
Joel
mega pastor.
Osteen.
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro. Oh my god. Oh man, that's a
Uh,
good one. That's a great one. Jesus. All right, I got one.
oh
I
no,
got
I'm thinking Kenneth Copeland. Shout out Kenneth Copeland, man. I'm sure God does want you to have 6 private jets, brother.
I donated like 10% of my yearly income to him.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he needs another private jet. How else is he supposed to buy one? How else is he supposed to spread the word of God?
He needs at least
Of God.
50,000 people like me because 10% is not enough.
Right. I'm sorry. Did I say the word of God? I meant the word of God.
God. Speaking of God, so my next question, right?
Okay. Seems
If
like it's
you had
about to
to
get heavy.
fight God, I mean Wonka, same thing, candy
Okay.
God. If you had to fight Willy Wonka and three Oompa Loompas to the death with a
Yeah.
weapon made entirely of candy and one of the kids as a teammate, what would your weapon be,
Mm.
and who would you choose as a sidekick out of all those kids?
Very easy. Easy answer to both of those, sir. Augustus Gloop is my teammate because he's an absolute unit. And
Okay,
he can take a lot of DPS. All right.
yeah, right,
Yeah. So he's gonna be my tank if we're talking like Overwatch terms or like like Marvel Rivals terms. He's my tank. He's gonna
okay,
sit there and absorb damage while I sneak around and take some sharp candy canes and start stabbing necks.
okay.
Yeah,
How are you
I like
gonna
sharpened candy
sharpen
canes.
the candy canes?
I'll have Augustus Gloop maybe just like eat the end of them for a little bit, just kind of suck on them and get them nice and sharp.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So Jordan Epstein. All right.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Pause. Hold up. Listen, the kid likes to eat candy. All right. You don't just bite a candy cane in half. You dude, I don't like the 2025. You can't say the word suck anymore, dude. That sucks.
You could slurp at it.
Nah,
That's
not
where
better.
it's
Not better.
not better. Still though,
I hate it
I
here.
like your
But yeah, no, dude,
choices.
I like the idea of sharpened candy canes. If there's a movie called uh J- uh, no, not Jingle All the Way. That's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's a movie that came out a couple of years ago about a Santa who protects this family from like terrorists or like robbers or something.
Oh, with
Um,
John Leguizamo. I never saw it. Violent
yes,
Night. That's what
very
it's
Violent
called.
Night. Thank you for the save, brother. I
Yes.
was floundering
Yes.
there. In
Gotcha.
that movie, Santa Claus stabs a bunch of bad guys in the throat with a sharpened candy cane, and I think it's awesome.
That's fantastic. I need to watch
Yeah,
that
yeah,
100%.
great
Christmas
movie.
episode? I think so.
Christmas episode, love it,
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. So
love it.
I thought long and hard about this and I could not come up with an answer. So I'm going to go a little bit on the fly here.
Okay,
Um, I think I'm taking Mike TV, all right, because he's a violent little psychopath. And if
okay,
anybody could turn candy into a violent projectile, it's him. So I'm thinking gumball marbles, you know what I mean? Some kind
okay.
of automatic, like Laffy Taffy slingshot action.
Yeah, I was thinking about slingshot too, like a taffy or like a licorice slingshot kind of deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
man.
I
Yeah,
like where
with
you're going with this.
gumball marbles, like with little, I don't know, bombs on them. I don't know. Are there bombs in
Okay.
candy? I don't know. But yeah, pop rocks. We're fucking.
I don't remember any
We're
of the candy exploding while they're there, but it doesn't seem like it's outside the realms of possibility.
not in Wonka's factory. I'm
No,
sure
not at
he's
all.
got candy C4. I'm gonna start. I'm going crazy. I'm going gorilla.
Wait, no, dude. There's something in the invention room that explodes. It blows up in Mike TV's mouth, dude. He literally
Oh,
eats
you're
a piece of
right.
exploding, something.
Yes, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
and he's
So we
like,
got
yeah,
it.
he's like, it's not ready yet. Needs more explosive gelatinite. Like he wants to make it more deadly. That's
Yeah,
why it's not ready.
100%. I think Mike
Crazy.
TV is the man for the job.
Absolutely, you could be the test dummy.
So those are my picks.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Yeah,
Oh man,
that's a pretty out there question, brother. I gotta tell you, I like it though.
I
Um,
thought long and hard on it.
the last category question I have is, uh, if you had to pick a runner up in Wonka's, essentially what turned out to be his competition to be his heir, Charlie is eliminated. He got eliminated from the fizzy drink. No coming back from that. He's done. You got to pick one of the other, deal with the other four. Who you choosing?
This is gonna sound like a bad choice, but I'm going Veruca.
Yeah,
I'm going Veruca, dude. She's the child of a capitalist mogul.
right.
Probably has some business sense. You know what I mean? I think she
Yeah,
could run a company. I think she'd have a chance. She'd probably have her dad in the wings, team of lawyers. You
right.
know, I mean, people with wealth that get more wealth get better at keeping that wealth. You know what I mean? So
That's
if I'm
true.
looking for somebody to keep the company going, keep the chocolate a flowing, keep the hellfires a rowing or whatever, um, I'm going with her. Now, the standard of living for the Oompa Loompas are going to
Is going
fall
to get worse.
dramatically.
Yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
get substantially worse.
Yeah. And the quality of chocolate's probably going to fall too, but I think they're going to be putting up numbers.
But to be
So,
fair, I feel like the quality of life that they have was already somewhat questionable. We didn't really get
no,
like super deep into the themes of like colonialism and exploitation, but I think they're definitely there.
they're
So
definitely
like,
there. Also,
yeah,
I
like
would like to mention, honorable mention, that I co-sign a theory that Willy Wonka is a Nazi from Germany, Nazi
yes,
scientist or the child of a Nazi
yes.
scientist or
You
something.
did present that yesterday when we were brainstorming this. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know what?
yeah,
I think
yeah.
there's crazier theories because again, on the rewatch, I noticed at least 2 points in which he is just incoherently babbling in German and nobody knows what he's talking about. Like I don't think the Oompa Loompas speak German either. So it's like, bro, who are you talking to?
Yeah, and who does he pick? Blonde hair, blue eye, perfect Aryan boy, Charlie.
That's true. That's
Just
deep.
saying. That's
Just saying.
dude,
Just
just
saying.
saying.
Gotta do your research, bro. Just saying. Do your own research. Legendary.
Some dude on Reddit posted that like 12 years ago. Spencer, if you can find that, like, it's there
Awesome.
for sure. But, what were
Veruca
you
Salt's
gonna say?
a pretty good choice though. I didn't really know who to go with. And now that like give Veruca as an option, like as your and you give your reason behind it, I see it. I think she probably would be pretty successful running the business. I just my gut is to go with my boy Augustus Gloop. I don't know why he's my choice for all these, but I think that there's no possible way that he could eat enough product to affect their margins. I just
Okay.
don't think he could.
Okay, fair.
I think
Fair.
he'd either get tired of it, or he would simply have a heart attack and die, and then the company goes to somebody else, and they'll probably be all right either way.
Right. Yeah.
So
I
I'm
like
going
that
Augustus
choice.
Gloop, man. It's either he's gonna eat and he's gonna be the happiest, fattest owner ever, or he's gonna have a heart attack and die. And
And I'll
that's the
tell
way
you
life
what,
goes
I
sometimes.
think with Augustus Gloop, there's a slim possibility that the chocolate actually gets better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Who's gonna have more experience in eating it and testing it? I mean, he's the perfect test subject.
He's
He'll
the
eat
guy,
anything.
man. Yeah.
He's your guy.
He's like Tony
Augustus Gloop is
Montana.
your guy. He's the
He's
guy.
getting high on his own supply.
Well,
All right,
folks, I
man.
think that's going to just about do it for this episode, our very special Halloween episode of Geeks and Governance. Thanks to everybody who made it this far with us, man. Honestly, we appreciate you guys listening. We're
We
super
definitely
excited to bring you guys
appreciate it.
more content. We still have more stuff on the back burner that we kind of actually postponed in order to put out these Halloween episodes, because we're pretty festive guys, what can I say?
Yeah.
And so we still have Peacemaker season 2, which is going to drop very soon. I'm thinking we're going to drop that early next week. Sorry, we're a little bit late on it because I know the season wrapped a couple weeks ago, but again, we really wanted to get these Halloween episodes out to you guys.
We also have Red Dead Redemption 1 in the wings. Red Dead Redemption 2, Act 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
we're doing a whole series on that, and that'll be almost like in between content, in between our major ones. Eventually down the road, folks, we would love to be able to have more content available that's not only going to be on Apple, on Spotify, and YouTube. We're hoping to get something like a Patreon going, just so that we have a way to bring you guys extra content. Would love to see if there's any interest in that, and when there is, we'll deliver. We would love to hear from you guys. And again, for now, guys, just send us in some questions. Let's get the listeners involved in the podcast and get some listener questions going. I think that'd be a really fun way to engage with the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I think that if you happen to be watching this on a short and you hear this slight call to action and you want to send us some random questions, even if you're just a passerby, or go for it. Our email again is geeksandgovernance@gmail.com, and you can ask us anything you want there. No matter how ridiculous, I'm sure we'll respond. So
Yeah, brother. Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
definitely will. Now's the time. There's never a better time to engage with us than right now. And again, thank you everybody for listening. Like, share, subscribe. And until next time, Joey, this has been fun. You got anything else for the people besides telling them that we love them?
Thank you for being a geek and geeking out with us.
We'll
see you next time. Yep.
Bye, everybody.